How you doing, folks? My name's Jesse. Vlog entry number 60, February 8th. What have I been working on? Same stuff I've been working on. Uh, I finally got word back from Monty about the keys to some of the songs, and unfortunately, they don't match the keys that are in the real book. So I'm gonna have to basically just. I think I'm gonna learn it by listening to the songs. I'm just gonna trust that I can figure out the jazz standards for the most part. You know, it's the world of 251, right? And I'll look up stuff that I'm struggling with. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, like, I have to start producing jam tracks, obviously. So I'm going to start using some of the changes in some of the songs that I have to learn so that I can kill multiple birds with a stone. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. This week's track is my version of BB King's The Thrill Is Gone. I loved BB King. BB King was really, I mean, I got into the blues the way most white kids growing up in the 80s got into the blues through Stevie Ray Vaughan. And then from Stevie Ray Vaughan, I went to BB King. And Live at Cook County Jail. How can you not love that? Oh, man. And then from BB King to Buddy Guy. There is a radio station, WVUD, out of the University of Delaware. And on Friday nights, they had the Red Hot and Blues. And they had, the guy who ran it was a true blues fanatic. And he was playing all kinds of stuff. And what I used to do, I had a boombox with the CD player and a cassette player. And I'd put the cassette in and I'd just record the show. And I would listen to it that week in the car. So, The Thrill Is Gone is a great tune to jam over because it's a minor blues and it's got the 6 to the 5 to the 1. So I was thinking D major and also, or A, that was A major, and also D major to go over the E minor. I was imagining my B minor shapes. Might have to review the so I mean, I'm as guilty. Hell, I'm in a sports bar blues band. And we can say all kinds of things about that. Some of them would be true. But I always try and play something that isn't a cliche. And so I try and look for ways to some notes somewhere. I don't think a whole lot, like I'm thinking D major, A major. I try and outline the E minor chord. Now when you get to the G major, I tried doing that. I'm using the Line 6 HX Stomp. This time I used their Hiwatt. They call it the Who Watt. You know, with the Kinky Boost, I used the LA compressor because I was trying to get a clean sound with just a little hint of grit to it. I mean, I guess it worked for the track. I'm not in love with the sound. Like, I was trying some of the Tweed Deluxes and stuff, but I found it got really muddy in the E and the A strings. You know, so it's part of the reason why I went with the Hiwatt is just because it sounded cleaner. It sounded more even. The bass notes didn't sound so woolly, you know. I don't know. What HX Stomp setup would you use to play some BB King? I mean, BB used, what were those amps? The L7, L6s that Gibson produced. Why am I struggling? And their big trademark was having that compressor, you know. So a compressor's probably pretty important. I don't know, I'm not in love with the sound. Like, and this is where I struggle. I think this is where my ADHD kicks in because I just want a sound that fits. Like the good thing about how I look at trying to figure out sounds is that I want something to fit a certain song. You know, when I had the Headrush gig board, I did the same thing. And I didn't worry so much about saving presets and stuff like that because who knew if I was ever going to use that again for any other song. And I ought to be able to just dial it up whenever I want anyway. But, like, what parameters push what is kind of an issue for me anyway, you know. They say if you've got the sound in your head, you know, you're halfway there. I like where it sits in terms of the mix. I like the little bit of grit on it. Like maybe it needs more mids. The other thing, maybe, and I know this is true for regular amps, I firmly believe that a good sound is a marriage. And you can have a really, and the two have to be compatible with each other. There's something indescribable about when the perfect guitar meets when the guitar meets its perfect match in terms of an amp. You know, I don't know how many times I've plugged, you know, I'd have an amp that I thought, man, you know, like this amp is good and this guitar is good, and I put them together and it just didn't work. But I put a different guitar with that amp and it's fine. You know? I don't know. I mean, this tone worked for what it was, you know. I wonder how well Line 6 does with semi-dirt. Like, obviously it can do clean. Obviously it can do heavy gain stuff. But I wonder, because I had that problem with the Headrush too. You know, how do you get just like an on the edge of breakup sound? It's the thing that I think amp simulations really struggle with, you know. So anyway, if you're looking for jam tracks, check out um, Guitar Jam Tracks. It's going to take me a while to remember my own channel. I put a third jam track up a little bit ago that I'm going to talk about next week. And hopefully I'm going to have some jazzier stuff coming up. Let me know if you've played around with the high watt version of the HX Stomp. And let me know if you had any secrets to dialing in some decent amp sounds. My name's Jesse. I'll talk to you later.